How are you seeing the market evolve? Where's the market headed?
It's a lot more independent production. Even the large broadcasters, especially in Europe, are buying productions that are created cheaper and by independent companies. And the trend has been going stronger and stronger over the years. So now basically we have some broadcasters that produce only a couple of shows themselves, and all the rest is bought and acquired from small companies. And so there's a lot of independent remote production and small scale production also, with a couple of guys that own a company and still create lots of data. Archiware produces a software suite called Archiware P5, which does archive, backup, and cloning or replication, which is storage agnostic, working on disk, tape, and cloud, and is also operating system agnostic, working on Mac, Windows, Linux, and QNAB, Synology, and other NAS systems.
You use the term backup and archive as though they are not the same thing. What's the difference between them?
Yeah, in our point of view, backup is always the replication or the security copy of ongoing production. So something that people are still working on, still editing, still adding media. And this is, of course, a rotating service overwriting itself after a certain retention time is reached. And everything that has been completed needs to be kept for long term. Migrates over to the archive. So that's the long-term storage tier, where you need to find something years after it has been produced. So you need metadata, you need proxies and previews like we create in the archive catalog. So you have lots of means to access the data visually or via search and combined search with metadata that you don't need in the backup, because if you deleted something from last week, you remember, it was this file that was missing. So you don't need elaborate metadata on that, you know where it was. So those are two different things that, and you need both. So you need the long-term preservation, actually, and you need the backup copy of your ongoing production.
When you and I first met decades and decades ago, you were one of the leading ways of archiving to LTO tape.
Yeah.
Is LTO still a thing, or are they moving to the cloud? Where are people archiving now?
Yeah. Okay, that's a really good question. So a lot of, especially MAM, DAM, and PAM vendors are looking for ways to profit from LTO's features. So LTO's features are the cybersecurity, especially relevant nowadays with the air gap, but also best price point per terabyte, long shelf life, and so on. And for those, we have something that I will talk about probably later when you ask me about it. But yes, LTO is coming back strong, especially for security reasons. Also for price points. In Europe, we see that even more because people have been very conservative and are in charge of their data governance more maybe than here in the US. So by law, they have to take care of that. For us, of course, that's a benefit since we have been operating with LTO tape and tape libraries since forever.
So what have you got that's new here at NAB?
Yeah. The MAM, DAM, and PAM vendors that want to use LTO, we have now an S3 server integration, which means you can use the S3 protocol to talk to P5 archive, effectively behaving like a bucket then, and this gives you S3 to LTO, if you will. So you have an easy solution to write to an LTO tape or LTO library using P5 archive through the S3 protocol. And since S3 is implemented in many MAM, DAM, and PAM solutions already, this opens the door to many more integrations, and we already have many integrations.
How are you seeing the market evolve? Where's the market headed?
It's a lot more independent production. Even the large broadcasters, especially in Europe, are buying productions that are created cheaper and by independent companies. And the trend has been going stronger and stronger over the years. So now basically we have some broadcasters that produce only a couple of shows themselves, and all the rest is bought and acquired from small companies. And so there's a lot of independent remote production and small scale production also, with a couple of guys that own a company and still create lots of data.
Are you seeing AI have any impact in the products your company is creating?
Not really, because we are at the end stage of when production is basically completed. People hand it over to the archive. So how they tag, how they discover products, how they discover faces is done way before that. And that's where AI probably is helping a lot to tag the media and to make it discoverable later on. But then they hand it over to the archive and we just keep it.
There's lots of different ways that we can clone a drive, make backups of it. Why would someone need the additional power that the P5 provides?
So for one, it's the LTO compatibility. So if you want to have a backup to LTO that you can have in your hand or put in your vault or take to a different branch or location, that's where we excel, and we can create duplicate copies of that. So you can have one on-site, one off-site. And that's otherwise would be a lot of manual labor. And with larger file sets, of course, when you have millions of files, then track those with Excel sheets is really no fun. And a lot of the manual solution that people have been working or trying to work with for years, then in the end come over to us and say we can't continue working like that. We need something that's automated, that's scalable. We have a lot of small companies that scale big in several years. Only they grow from several hundred terabytes to petabytes, and they need a solution to grow with them, and that's where we are very strong. So we have companies like real enterprise size, but with the same solution we have people with one desktop drive, like we're doing demos here, and it's all the same software, same usability, same simplicity to use, and so it grows with them.
If you were to do a one-paragraph commercial for why somebody should consider the P5 and Archiware, what would you say?
It keeps your data safe. It does backup and archive in one solution, so you only have one interface. It gives you maximum flexibility concerning the operating system. As I said, it's operating system agnostic. It gives you maximum flexibility with storage. It's storage agnostic, working with disk, tape, and cloud storage. And we created something behind the archive, an add-on to P5 Archive that gives you flexibility after you're archived. So we can move around data between disk, tape, and cloud storage after it has been archived. Gives you maximum flexibility and future-proof archive. So all of that works in one direction, give you flexibility and future-proof features once you started archiving and doing backup for ongoing production, archive for completed production.